Bab occupies a place in religious history very similar to that of John the Baptist. He was a forerunner of Baha'u'llah, who was the founder of the Bahai faith.
Dr. Robert Hallam runs a farm high on the moors above Bradford. He is also a Bahai, a member of a worldwide religious community which began over 100 years ago in Iran and was inspired by the teachings of a man who called himself the Bab. Today is the anniversary of the Bab's death.
Almost every religion, established religion, has a promise of a new messenger to come at some time in the future. And down the history, this has occurred about every 1,000 years. There was an expectation in Iran at the time that there would be a new messenger, the 12th Imam. And the Bab was, in fact, that messenger. He was being sought out by religious scholars of the time, and a group had gone to Shiraz, a city about 800 miles south of Tehran. And when the party arrived, 2 were sent off to seek accommodation, and 1 waited outside the city and was met by the young man, who finally turned out to be the Bab, who introduced him to his new message. The Bab was seen as a political threat, and eventually the government were persuaded that he should be executed. And the divines of the time did not want precisely what we've got now, a recognition of the Bab as a martyr. So that his remains were cast into a dry moat on the outskirts of the city in Tabriz, and a follower, by cover of darkness, gathered up those remains, and they were hidden in a silk factory, put into a casket, and actually walled up. And from time to time, when the rumours emerged that the Bab's remains were still in existence, they were moved from place to place and finally taken to the Holy Land. And the shrine of the Bab was erected on Mount Carmel. And at a later stage, a golden covering to the dome was fitted, and that has now become a mark on the maritime maps for the Mediterranean. It can be seen from many miles out to sea. The Bab had exhorted his followers to turn to, and he quoted, "He whom God shall make manifest." And in fact, he was Baha'u'llah. Both the Bab and Baha'u'llah are Arabic words. The Bab means gate, Baha'u'llah means glory of God. Baha'u'llah had originally been a follower of the Bab. Being a Babi, he was cast into prison, and whilst he was in prison, he got a vision, a visitation, when he knew that his mission was to take over the ministry of the Bab and found the Bahai faith. Bahai means enlightened. The followers of major religions have always looked forward to peace, heaven on earth, if you like, but within the Bahai faith, the followers have been promised that world peace will be established. The lesser peace by the year 2000, and by lesser peace is meant the absence of armed conflict. There will still be differences and disputes, but that will lay a foundation to a move forward to what Baha'u'llah has described as the most great peace. As with all the religions, the untimely end of its founder is an important thing to commemorate. And this occurred in 1850 at noon in the square in Tabriz. The Bab was executed by firing squad. At noon, throughout the world, local communities will gather. They will read an account of his martyrdom. They will read prayers revealed by the Bab, and in a dignified atmosphere, remember that this was the origin of the Bahai faith.